beneath our feet, doesn't it?
It really does.
From global events, to these rapid technological shifts, disruption. Well, it's not really the exception anymore, is it? It's just the environment we live and lead in now.
That's right.
And for a lot of us, I think that feeling of constant change can be pretty overwhelming. It can lead to paralysis, maybe, instead of progress.
Yeah, absolutely.
So today we're taking a deep dive into leading through disruption and uncertainty. And we're looking at it through the lens of George Bickerstaff's work.
Yes, our insights for this deep dive, they come from George Bickerstaff. He is a highly experienced global leader in healthcare, technology, finance, a board director, a co-founder of the Global Leaders.
Right.
His work, it's quite extensive, and it provides a really powerful, actionable framework for navigating, well, today's complex landscape. It can get pretty turbulent out there.
So our mission, for you listening, is to really extract the most impactful nuggets of knowledge from his perspective, sort of a shortcut, to being well-informed and equipped to lead boldly, effectively, even when things feel uncertain. Okay, let's unpack this.
Well, what's really illuminating, I think, is that Bickerstaff anchors his whole discussion with this timeless quote from Sun Tzu. In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity.
Classic.
It is, and he uses it not just as a nice saying, but really as a foundational principle. He's suggesting that disruption isn't just a challenge to overcome, but it's actually fertile ground for growth if we adopt the right mindset.
That's a key shift right there, because we often think of disruption as these huge external things, like you mentioned, pandemics, supply chain shocks, the AI revolution.
Not the big headlines.
Exactly. But Bickerstaff makes this really insightful point that disruption isn't always external. It's not always even visible.
Indeed. He defines disruption pretty broadly, actually. Any force altering the status quo. So, yes, new technologies, crises, demographic shifts, unexpected events, all that fits.
Okay.
But his critical insight, and this is important, is that it can also be an internal reckoning.
Yeah.
Deeply internal. Maybe outdated business models that just don't serve anymore.
Right.
Or misaligned values within a team, perhaps. Or simply burned out, disengaged employees. That's disruption, too.
That's a really interesting expansion of the idea.
And in both scenarios, internal or external, the call is clear. You have to respond. You can't just retreat. What he emphasizes is that true disruption fundamentally changes how value is created and delivered.
How value is created, okay.
Yeah, think about the smartphone's rise, completely redefined communication, commerce, everything.
Totally.
Or the shift towards renewable energy, that's massive. Or even just the hybrid work revolution happening right now, forcing us to rethink offices. These aren't small tweaks. They are structural shifts.
So the key isn't just reacting to it or weathering the storm. It's about becoming truly fluent in it. That's a great phrase. To anticipate, absorb, and continuously evolve.
Exactly. Fluent in it.
But for many leaders, especially those maybe used to more stable times, that shift, it can feel daunting, almost impossible sometimes. What's like a first practical step someone could take to build that fluency, not just being told they need it?
That's a fair question. Bickerstaff really emphasizes that building fluency starts with a mindset shift, a deep one, moving from, say, a fear of change to really understanding its inevitability.
Okay, acceptance first.
Yes, and then actively scanning the periphery. Look beyond your immediate competitors. Look at adjacent industries, emerging tech, shifts in consumer behavior. Try to spot those early signals.
Widen the lens.
Widen the lens. Cultivate curiosity and an experimental approach, even in small ways, so that when the bigger disruptions hit, your organization kind of has a muscle memory for adaptation already built up.
That makes perfect sense. Build the muscle before you desperately need it. But let's be honest, living in that state of constant flux, it takes a toll.
Oh, absolutely.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Bickerstaff really illustrates how uncertainty isn't just like a mental challenge, it's a physiological stressor.
Yes, it really is.
It can lead to anxiety, resistance, even decision paralysis in teams. And he argues, I think, that many leaders mistakenly address the symptoms, the resistance, maybe rather than the root cause, which is that deep human need for control, right?
Precisely. He highlights that the emotional impact of uncertainty is profound.
Yeah.
And often underestimated. People just crave clarity, even when certainty, it just isn't possible.
Right. So what do leaders do then?
This is where the strong leaders step in. They don't pretend to have all the answers, because they don't. Nobody does.
That's honest.
It is. But they do create what Bickerstaff calls psychological safety during the chaos. They're honest about what they don't know, but they powerfully reinforce what they do know.
Like what?
Like the organization's unwavering purpose, its mission, its core values. These become the anchors.
Ah, okay. The non-negotiable.
Exactly. This isn't about being soft. It's about providing that anchor in the storm. It's about being present, trustworthy, and consistently pointing your teams toward a clear direction, even if the path itself is still unfolding.
That anchoring in trust and values, it feels so vital when the ground is shifting. Now, thinking about plans, many organizations still cling to those traditional long-term strategic plans, 5 years, sometimes more.
The 5-year plan, yes.
But Bickerstaff challenges that. He argues it's just increasingly unrealistic now. So what does he propose instead? How do you plan when the future is so unpredictable?
Yeah, that's a crucial challenge he tackles. The traditional 5-year plan, seen as this rigid blueprint, he says it's almost guaranteed to fail now.
Strong words they are.
Instead, he advocates for what he calls living strategies. Think of them as documents that are flexible, iterative, responsive to real-time change.
Living strategies. I like that.
Agile organizations, he observes, they're constantly testing, learning, pivoting quickly. They set ambitious long-term visions, sure, but they break them down into shorter-term adaptable goals.
More like sprints towards a vision.
Kind of, yeah. It allows them to adjust course rapidly as new data, new context emerges. Resilience, in Bickerstaff's view, it comes not just from preparation, but from this sense and respond mindset, not wait and see.
Sense and respond, not wait and see. Got it.
His warning is pretty stark. Rigidity gets punished in today's world. Adaptability, that gets handsomely rewarded.
That sense and respond approach, it really is a fundamental shift. But let's talk communication. What happens? What are the dangers when communication breaks down during all this disruption? How quickly can those information vacuums cause real problems?
How quickly? Bickerstaff is incredibly clear on this point. Silence creates fear.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. And fear breeds speculation, rumors, and ultimately, it just corrodes trust. He stresses that leaders must over-communicate.
Over-communicate, not just communicate.
Over-communicate with radical honesty and deep empathy. That means clear, frequent messages. Acknowledge the challenges, even when the news is tough. That actually humanizes leadership. It fosters cohesion when people feel like they're being told the truth.
Honesty, even when it's hard.
Especially when it's hard. And it's not just about what you say either, it's how you listen. Two-way communication is vital. It creates belonging, and you know what? It can even spark unexpected innovation from frontline insights.
Tapping into the collective intelligence.
Exactly. When leaders are transparent, teams feel seen, they feel heard, and they feel much more ready to move forward, even into the unknown.
That emphasis on two-way communication, listening.
Yeah.
It's huge. Okay, shifting slightly. It seems like when old options disappear or resources get tight, it often feels like a dead end for organizations, right? Like the walls are closing in.
It can feel that way, yeah.
But Bickerstaff frames constraint in a really powerful, almost counterintuitive way.
He does. It's a key insight. Disruption often removes old options, yes, but it simultaneously opens up space for new ones. He argues that when resources are limited or existing systems collapse, that's when creativity truly thrives. It forces us out of complacency.
Necessity is the mother of invention, sort of.
Very much so. Think about the COVID-19 pandemic. It wasn't just a crisis, it was a massive catalyst for innovation, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Everywhere you looked.
Companies reinvented logistics overnight. Healthcare accelerated telemedicine by years, literally years. Education moved online for millions, globally. In that crisis, innovation wasn't a luxury item. It became fundamental for survival, for growth.
Right.
So leaders, Bickerstaff says, should empower experimentation, reward smart risk-taking, even if it feels uncomfortable initially.
Embrace the experiments.
Embrace them. His core message here is profound. Constraint, he argues, is not the enemy of innovation, it's the engine. It sparks our most ingenious solutions.
Constraint as the engine of innovation. Wow, that really makes you rethink limitations. Okay, so even with all this innovation, this agility, an organization still needs a strong core, right? Something to hold it together when the external world is just so fluid. What does Bickerstaff identify as that fundamental glue?
It's culture, plain and simple.
Sure.
Okay. He points to leaders like Satya Nadella at Microsoft. We mentioned him earlier. When Nadella took over, he didn't just tweak the strategy. He initiated a profound cultural renewal, shifting from that know-it-all attitude to a learn-it-all mindset.
Deep shift.
Huge. Emphasizing empathy, collaboration, diversity. That transformation really driven by psychological safety and a growth mindset, that became their competitive advantage during massive industry disruption.
So the culture was the advantage.
Exactly. If your culture is weak, disruption can just fracture teams. But a strong, adaptive culture, like Nadella fostered, that becomes your most resilient asset.
Yeah.
It dictates how decisions get made, how people treat each other, how values actually get put into action day to day.
And leaders shape that how?
By modeling the behavior, not just issuing mandates from on high. Resilient cultures, he says, are inclusive, they're mission-driven, and they're deeply human. When everything else feels uncertain, culture remains a constant. It's your invisible architecture.
Culture as invisible architecture and a competitive advantage. That's a powerful way to frame it. Now, navigating this kind of environment, it demands speed, as we said, but definitely not recklessness. How do leaders actually balance that urgency with discipline in decision-making, especially when the stakes are incredibly high?
Yeah, this is where the rubber meets the road in a crisis, isn't it? Bickerstaff emphasizes that decisive action is absolutely paramount, but it has to be informed action, not just shooting from the hip.
Informed speed.
Exactly. He suggests practical frameworks, things like rapid scenario planning, quick prototyping, build something small, test it fast, establishing cross-functional war rooms where diverse perspectives can quickly come together around a problem.
Get different eyes on it.
Crucial. You need varied viewpoints to avoid those critical blind spots that can lead to really poor decisions under pressure. He makes a compelling point, too. Sometimes you just need to act with, say, 70% certainty.
70%. That feels low for big decisions.
It might feel low, but waiting for 100% perfection. That often means missing the window of opportunity entirely. The perfect answer might never actually arrive. What matters, he argues, is decisive progress, not some illusory perfection.
Progress over perfection.
Yes, and decisive leaders, they empower others to act quickly too, while ensuring everyone stays aligned with the shared goals. It's not about micromanaging every single step.
Okay, so it's informed agility, empowering others, not just blind speed from the top. In this whole context, then, it really sounds like investing in people. Well, it's not just a nice-to-have anymore, is it? Or just a budget line item. It's an absolute necessity for survival and growth.
Absolutely. Bickerstaff is unequivocal on this. Resilient organizations, they don't just sort of hunker down and weather storms. They proactively invest in their people. They build teams that are inherently adaptive, deeply collaborative, and constantly learning.
So things like training.
Upskilling, cross-training, continuous leadership development. These aren't luxuries. They are fundamental necessities now. Organizations that fail to invest in their talent, he warns, they risk not just stagnation, but actual obsolescence down the line.
Wow, obsolescence, that's stark.
It is. But there's an upside. Disruption, paradoxically, creates incredible opportunities for emerging leaders to step up and shine. So you really can't overlook the power of mentorship, timely feedback, genuine empowerment. Give people the chance.
Find the hidden leaders.
Find them and nurture them. The workforce of the future, Bickerstaff says, is defined by its flexibility, its insatiable curiosity, and its unwavering focus on the mission.
Flexibility, curiosity, mission focus. Got it. Now, with all this turbulence, all these moving parts we've discussed, how do organizations actually find and maintain their true north? What stops them from just drifting off course in the chaos?
This is where Bickerstaff places immense importance on purpose. Purpose, he argues, acts as the ultimate anchor in the chaos.
The anchor again.
Yes. It's not just a mission statement hanging on a wall, it's the profound why. The thing that reminds teams why their work truly matters. Especially when maybe the usual metrics are fluctuating wildly or the carefully laid plans are changing constantly.
When the what's and how are shifting, the why stays constant.
Beautifully put. Purpose-driven companies, he observes, they don't just attract loyal customers, they attract deeply resilient employees and long-term committed partners too. During disruption, purpose doesn't just build meaning, it builds critical momentum.
Momentum, interesting.
Because leaders who consistently tie every decision, every communication back to that core purpose, they forge deeper alignment, they build stronger trust, they create compelling narratives that inspire action, not fear. For Bickerstaff, purpose isn't just, marketing fluff. It's your organizational compass, guiding every single step.
Your compass. Love that. Okay, finally, Bickerstaff touches on leadership itself, recognizing that it's just fundamentally different in these disruptive times. What's required of leaders now, both personally and publicly, especially when the path ahead just isn't clear at all?
Yeah, his conclusion on leadership in disruption is that it's both profoundly personal and highly public. You have to manage both.
Personal and public. How so?
Well, personally, leaders need to show up not just as polished professionals, but as authentic people, leveraging things like vulnerability, authenticity, compassion. These are actually immensely powerful tools now. They build connection, build trust.
So being human.
Being human, exactly. And then publicly, leaders are still the ultimate tone setters, the visionaries, the prioritizers. They have to provide that clarity and direction.
Right.
But privately, in the one-on-ones, in the small groups, they need to offer reassurance, genuinely listen to concerns, provide mentorship to those really grappling with the change.
So both the big picture and the individual connection.
Both roles are essential and intertwined. Disruption, he suggests, it reveals character. It stripped away all the non-essentials and shows what truly matters most. And critically, it shows how we respond when the plan breaks down. The future, Bickerstaff believes, will belong to leaders who can lead with both heart and skill, especially when the path isn't clear.
Heart and steel. Okay, so we've really delved into these powerful principles, but what does this look like in practice? Bickerstaff's work does provide some compelling real-world examples, doesn't it? Leaders who really embody this stuff through major disruptions. We mentioned Satya Nadella at Microsoft already.
Yes, his cultural transformation is a prime example. And we also see this in leaders like, say, Angela Merkel, steering Germany through huge economic and geopolitical storms, always with this blend of pragmatism and calm and clear communication.
Right, steady hand.
Very steady. Jacinda Ardern leading New Zealand with such incredible compassion through multiple crises, she really demonstrated that empathy isn't a weakness in leadership. It's a profound strength.
Absolutely.
Reed Hastings at Netflix showed astonishing strategic agility, didn't he? Pivoting the company multiple times, completely redefining media and entertainment along the way.
Yeah, from DVDs to streaming to content creation.
Exactly. And Anne Wojcicki, co-founder of 23andMe. Navigating immense disruption in healthcare, democratizing genetic information through just persistent innovation against really significant odds. These aren't just names, They are living case studies of Bickerstaff's principles in action.
These leaders really do share how these traits, agility, communication, empathy, purpose, they aren't just theoretical nice-to-haves. They are vital, practical tools for navigating real-world challenges and actually coming out stronger.
So if we were to distill everything from this deep dive down into top takeaways, George Bickerstaff really emphasizes disruption is constant, yes, but it's entirely learnable. Leaders can absolutely learn to thrive in it.
Learnable. That's hopeful.
It is. Agility, transparent communication, a clear sense of purpose, these are the absolute keys. Uncertainty demands not just sharp strategic thinking, but also that profound level of emotional intelligence we talked about.
A heart and skill again.
Right. A strong, adaptable culture and truly empowered teams. They are your best defense. And critically, remember, innovation is often born not in comfort or abundance, but right there in the crucible of constraint.
Okay, so what's the practical implication of all this for you listening right now? Bickerstaff's work is great because it also provides these incredibly practical actions to take and, just as importantly, actions not to take. Those are often overlooked.
They are. So to lead effectively through disruption, Bickerstaff says you should communicate regularly with absolute clarity, honesty, empathy. Because, as we discussed, silence just fills with fear and rumors.
Over-communicate.
Over-communicate. Always encourage experimentation and reward smart risks. Understand that failure is often just data in disguise, giving you critical feedback.
Learn from mistakes.
Learn from them. Anchor every single strategy in a clear, values-driven purpose. That's your non-negotiable compass, remember? Even when metrics are all over the place. Invest proactively in leadership development. Future-ready skills, your people, are your most adaptable resource.
Invest in people.
Always. And crucially, foster a culture where adaptability and inclusion aren't just buzzwords or, once-a-year initiatives. They have to be daily practices.
Make it real. Okay, and the don'ts.
Right, the don'ts. Bickerstaff warns. Don't wait for perfect information. That moment will likely never come, and you'll miss the boat. Don't ignore the very real emotional impact of change on your teams. That just leads to disengagement and burnout.
Acknowledge the feelings.
Yes. Don't just default to old strategies that worked in a different era. They will probably fail you now. Don't isolate yourself from frontline insights. Your best solutions often come from places you least expect.
Stay connected.
Stay connected. And finally, never, ever underestimate the power of your presence. People are always watching how you lead, especially in tough times. Your demeanor sets the tone for everyone.
Wow, that's a powerful list of do's and don'ts. So what's the ultimate takeaway then from all of this exploration?
Well, I think
the world isn't going to get less complex, is it? or less disrupted. That seems pretty clear. But maybe with these insights from George Bickerstaff, you, the listener, now have a clearer compass, perhaps, and a more adaptable toolkit for navigating and even thriving through all this uncertainty.
I think that's right. This deep dive really highlights that leading through disruption isn't about somehow eliminating chaos, because that's impossible. It's about skillfully influencing the variables you can actually control.
Focus on what you can control.
Your culture, your communication, your unwavering purpose, and crucially, it's about embracing the opportunities that inevitably emerge from the very heart of that chaos. Remember Sun Tzu?
Opportunity and chaos. Indeed. And as you step back into your own world, your own challenges, perhaps the most provocative thought for you to consider is this. If constraint is truly the engine of innovation, then what perceived limitation or challenge in your current environment right now could actually be your greatest untapped opportunity for a breakthrough?
That's a powerful question to sit with. Really powerful. And for those interested in exploring this subject further, George Bickerstaff has authored several insightful books, things like The Future of Healthcare, the Lessons series. They're all available if you want to dive even deeper into his perspectives and frameworks.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time, keep learning, keep adapting, and keep leading.